Hi students, welcome to another session. So far we are dealing with Unit 3 and we are discussing evolution, and we have dealt in biological and cultural transmission. So far we discussed cultural transmission and enculturation, and let us see the next topic. So the next topic is socialization. Socialization is like a communication between a group of people. Let us see what is there in this topic. Socialization is a process by which individuals acquire knowledge, skills, and dispositions which enable them to participate as effective members of groups and society. So, in the process of socialization, what is the important point is that acquire knowledge, skills is the main point. Disposition is the changes which enable them to participate. It is like the communication between both uh, uh, the persons or the group of people has been fruitful or not. Okay, so it is a process that continues over the entire lifespan. So when you're in a group, you will be communicating. There will be a continuous interaction. So these things, the knowledge from is transferred from one person to another person. There is an internal communication, and also both ways through which one learns and develops way of effective functioning at any stage of development. So it is a stage by stage, it is an active learning. All these things will be happening to become an effective member. So that is the main motto of socialization. So in the earlier enculturation and transmission, the knowledge is transferred. But now the knowledge transferring after that, the organism becomes effective. So next, socialization forms the basis of social and cultural transmission from one generation to another. As it is knowledge transfer which makes value and improvement in the lives of the organism, socialization is very important for the communication between them. So it is the one which is important from one generation to the next. Its failure in any society may endanger the very existence of the society. So if the socialization failures, the effective agents will be missing. So that will affect the society itself, the group itself. The group itself will not be able to create effective communication, thus it will collapse. The concept of socialization suggests that all human beings are capable of far greater repertoire of the behavior. It is like a set repository behavior than they ever exhibit. So it is a collection of behaviors. It is a collection, repository, you can call group, which the earlier people has adopted. So the socialization is a group of behaviors. It is a collection of behaviors from the earlier generation to next generation. We begin life in a particular social context, and there we learn to make certain responses and not others. So in a way of communication, for example, say in a society, we will be communicating, right? So in this communication, in the context, we have certain responses. We react, we receive and react. These type of things will help us socialize. There are some situations there is no reaction also. So in that way, the most clear example is our linguistic behavior. That is the language, how we are communicating with others, how we are talking, how we use the words. Although we can speak any language that exists in the world, we learn to speak only that language which people around us speak. A group, a state has a language, a district has a language, a group of people has a communication medium, that is language. That can be any language. But where the people, all the people are like commonly available. Within this social context, we also learn many other things. Example, when to express emotions and when to suppress them. Yes. For example, say you have these um, you can say there are some situations which test our emotions. Emotions say angry, sad, fear, like these things, happiness. So these things are uh, like there will be ups and downs, there will be increase in emotions, decrease in emotions, there will be emotional reactions. That emotional reactivity is based on how we receive things, how we learn things. Okay, so so socialization is a concept, it is transformed, it is a part of cultural transmission. It is a group of behaviors, a set of behaviors. Generally, they will have a medium of communication, that is any language that all the people understand and speak. Okay. The probability of our behaving in a particular way is greatly affected by people who relate to us. Yes. How you are reacting, how your emotions are, whether they are controlled, whether they are reactive, whether they are receiving. It depends on the way the other people. Someone will take positively, someone will take negative way. So the probability of our behaving, so whether you are behaving in a positive manner or a negative manner, that depends on in a particular way. Anyone who possesses power relative to us can socialize us. So it is about the common ground. It is about the common understanding. It is about common abilities, understanding, abilities, etc. These agents include parents, teachers, and others elders who are more knowledgeable in the ways of their society. That depends. This socialization depends on the cultural or biological parents because they will transfer the knowledge to you. Knowledge to you. So this gives a basic understanding then how will things go. Under certain conditions, however, even our age peers can affect socializations. Yes, they are also part of that. They are parallel commuters with us. So this age peers also, and even our cultural parents like friends, our colleagues, neighbors may also affect socialization. So we are seeing what is socialization, how it is part of the cultural transmission. The process of socialization is not always a smooth transition. between the individual and the socialization agent. So who can be the agent? And the individual is you. The individual is you. It sometimes involves conflicts. There can be a miscommunication. There can be anything. In such situations, not only are some responses punished, but some are also blocked by behavior of others in effective ways. Yeah, there will be ways to control. There will be ways that you are able to block others' behavior. You do not receive. You may uh, not respond. At the same time, several responses need to be rewarded. Like, say, for example, bad behavior and a good behavior. Good behavior is rewarded, right? For a child who is behaving good, he will be encouraged. And that also helps in that so that they acquire greater strength. They move forward with more energy, learning new things, learning more things, and more communicative with the group. More communicative with the group. Thus, reward and punishment serve as basic means for achieving the goals of socialization. So, rewards and punishment. Punishment is a negative one, reward is a positive one. Positive reinforcement, as discussed in behavioral operant conditioning theory, this stimulus and response, positive stimuli, negative stimuli, and positive reward and negative reward that shapes the behavior, achieving the goals of socialization. In this sense, all socialization seems to involve efforts by others to control behavior. So that depends on others. It is not only an individual thing, it also depends on others to control behavior. So these are the main points of socialization. So socialization, although primarily consists of deliberate teaching for producing acceptable behavior, the process is not unidirectional. So here, if you can see, enculturation, in the earlier session, we say it is a non-directional teaching. It is directly transferred. It is directly learned. But in socialization, you may be taught. You may be taught for producing acceptable. You may be also corrected. Individuals are not only influenced by their social environment, but they also influence it. Here, it is not only the environment, it is also the other way around. It is not only that particular individual is influenced by others, he also indirectly influences. He may be the cause for change, a new behavior. He can be the new agent, new effective agent to change the behavior. Okay. So then, in societies that compromise many social groups, individuals may choose those to which they wish to belong. So there can be common grounds like a similar language, similar behavior, similar emotions. These individuals to what they are similar to what they were where they belong to. With increased migration, individuals are not only socialized ones, but are often re-socialized because of the migration. They have to adopt new culture. They have to be re-socialized differently in their lifespan. This process is known as acculturation, which we will discuss later. So this re-socialization, adopting new cultures, is called acculturation. We will be discussing this in the next sessions. Okay. I think so. Due to the process of enculturation and socialization, we find behavioral similarities within societies and behavioral differences across societies. So here, if you can see, the similarities because they are adopted. There are differences because there are socializations where there is a change in the organism. Both processes involve learning from other people. In the case of socialization, the learning involves deliberate teaching. But in enculturation, it also involves from other people, but it is directly learned. It is observational learning. Enculturation is observational learning. Socialization is direct learning. Here it is experiential learning. Here it is practical learning. In case of enculturation, so you may also get a new doubt. So enculturation is a direct learning, socialization is a communicative learning. What is acculturation? Acculturation happens in a both ways. In a both way. It is one way, it is two ways. It is like secondarily, it is accepted, it is taught, and then in the both ways, which is happens, a change of learning is called acculturation. In the case of enculturation, teaching is not necessary for learning to take place. In case of enculturation, teaching is not necessary for learning to take place. Yes, in enculturation, it is observational learning, right? So then, how it goes? Enculturation means engagement of people in their culture. Since most of the learning takes place with our engagement in our culture, socialization can be easily subsumed under the process of enculturation. So in the direct learning, when the enculturation takes place, socialization can also be taken place. Some values, all these can be adopted through socialization. Okay, so this is the basic differences and basic similarities, basic link ups, connections between enculturation, socialization, and we will see acculturation in the coming units. So here, a good deal of our learning involves both enculturation and socialization. Yes, language learning is a good example. While a lot of language learning takes place spontaneously, there is also certain amount of direct teaching of the language. For example, say grammar. Grammar is not a daily. In a daily, generally we form sentences without grammar. They are framed on the usage basis, on a general need basis. But in the grammar, there are certain set of rules. There are certain set of rules to be followed, regulations. All these things can be happened through socialization. Socialization is a formal learning, but enculturation it is directly adopted. On the other hand, learning of language other than the mother tongue, such as learning of Hindi by a European child or a French by a child in India, is completely deliberate process. That is, it is about, it is a choice. It is a choice. It is a default thing. Learning a mother tongue is a default thing. It happens, but it is a choice. It is a deliberate process. It's a choice. So that's how. So enculturation and socialization plays a great role in communication. This basics will give you an idea of what is socialization, how these things go, what is the difference between enculturation. So that gives you a better understanding how socialization and enculturation takes place. So that's how we end this session. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.